welcome to episode 14, where we are speaking with an amazing Indigenous woman who lives here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Indigenous Projects and Events is a corporate event management company that specializes in employment and HR events, as well as K to 12 educational programming for schools. We also have the Speakers Bureau, where we have amazing speakers such as Julie. And we will be interviewing every single one of them. So subscribe and like to the channel to get more content like this. So Julie Laflamme is the CEO and founder of Beauty2Browse. And Beauty2Browse is the world's first Indigenous Beauty Academy. Julie is a trailblazer in her industry and has created an inclusive space where Indigenous artists and community members can gain skills, confidence, and tools to thrive in beauty and in entrepreneurship. Through Beauty2Browse, Julie offers both in-person and online trainings, including cosmetic tattooing, advanced aesthetics, teeth whitening, and business building courses. Her mission is more than just beauty. It's about restoring self care and confidence that was taken from past generations and showing youth that caring for themselves mentally and physically can also be a form of therapy. So, back in 2010, Julie started as the only Indigenous student at Evelyn Charles Academy, where she turned challenges into motivation to create opportunities for others. Since then, she has grown Beauty2Browse into a thriving academy that empowers Indigenous entrepreneurs, that also uplifts communities and ensures a strong Indigenous presence within the beauty industry. So thank you so much for joining us, Julie.
Yay! Thank you for having me. This is amazing. I am so excited to share my journey with you.
Okay, awesome. Can you share about your upbringing? Like, what inspired you to step into the beauty industry in the first place?
For sure. So, I actually was not in the beauty industry when I first started in the beauty industry. I
Mhm.
was actually going to school to become a police officer. I am a 60 millennial scoop survivor as well. And I grew up in a great home. My parents were amazing. I grew up in the church, and I didn't really know who I was as an Indigenous person growing up. So, my mother actually put me into Indigenous schools my whole life in
Mhm.
Edmonton. And that's where I learned about my culture and, met other amazing Indigenous kids that were just like me. And I found that when I became a mother at the young age of 18, I
Mhm.
was kind of lost. I didn't know which direction I was going in my life. And I was looking at the newspaper one day and it said, join this beauty academy, Evelyn Charles. And it just dawned on me to try it out. I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. My mom thought I was crazy. She was like, what the heck? You're going to quit your policing school. At the time, she didn't know I was pregnant. So I kind of did a whole 180 with my life. And when I became a single mother, I thought to myself, I need to be home for my son every night. I can't risk my life, when I'm the only parent and I'm going to be a single parent. So I need to be there for my son.
Okay,
So
I was wondering like what caused the shift from being a police officer to going into the beauty industry. And so, yes, that makes sense that risking your life is not something that you're willing to sign up for.
yes, I actually did the army thing as well. So that was kind of like the lifestyle I was in. I was always
Mhm.
into fitness and it just made sense for me. It came easy to me to be, in that industry. So when I started in the beauty industry, it was very, very hard for me. I didn't fit in. I was the ugly duckling. I didn't know how to do my makeup. I also was one of the very few Indigenous people there. I looked around in the academy and I was like, what the heck? I'm the only Indigenous person here. As you know, I didn't see a lot of Indigenous people in the beauty industry back then. A lot of hairdressers, great, but not anyone in the advanced aesthetics era. So when I
Mhm.
started this journey, it was not easy for me. I had a lot of setbacks, a lot of what the heck am I doing? I had to learn how to glue my eyelashes on. I had to learn how to do my makeup, and when I actually started in the academy, I loved it. I loved making people feel good. I loved the academy. Evelyn Charles herself was an amazing entrepreneur. Like
You
she
got to
built
meet
her.
Evelyn Charles.
Yes, yes. So I worked for her for about 4 or 5 years, and it was honestly an amazing journey for me because, for one, my professionalism was here. She did not play about professionalism in the beauty industry. And that was a lot of my inspiration of how I wanted to run my academy. I remember walking into her academy and just looking around, and I was like, this is what I want. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be a professional in the beauty industry. So she really set that standard in the beauty industry. And I'm very thankful that I knew her, and God bless her soul. She actually passed away last year, and she left a legacy. That is something that I want for Beauty2Browse. And when I started in the industry, that was something that I didn't even think was achievable, at the time. And I'm very thankful that I did go to the Evelyn Charles Academy because it really was one of the great schools for beauty, for sure.
Yeah. So you were, again, the only Indigenous student at Evelyn Charles, and it was 2010. What challenges did you face at that time, and how did they shape your vision for Beauty2Browse? I mean, obviously, the biggest challenge being you're the only Indigenous woman in this academy, and you have a lot to learn in terms of how you're showing up, how you're presenting yourself. What were some additional challenges that you faced?
So I think discrimination for sure. I
Mhm.
think a lot of people didn't think I was Indigenous. They probably thought I was Indian from India, which was like a crazy thing for me because I honestly didn't think of it like that until I was working in the spa one day. And one of my clients was like, "Oh, so like you're from India." And I was like, "Oh, no, like I am Indigenous from Canada." Like that is so weird. But it didn't dawn on me until she said that. And I was looking around and I was like, man, I actually am the only Indigenous person working in this high-end spa doing pedicures and Brazilian and all this stuff. So it didn't actually dawn on me until my client said that. And after that, I was kind of like, oh crap, like I think people think I'm from like India. So I actually have to make it known that I am Indigenous. I actually have to step into who I am. I have to tell people who I am, where I'm from, because nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of was a challenge for me to kind of fit into the beauty industry because back then the standards of Indigenous people taking up that space was not a thing,
Yeah.
so when I actually was working in the high-end spa and that client actually pointed that out, I started stepping into who I was. I actually started telling people I am Indigenous, this is where I'm from. I am Ojibwe, I am from here, I'm from Ontario, I'm not from India. So that was a big challenge for me, but also learning the industry, learning how to be a professional in the industry. A lot of my clients were businesswomen. They were high-end businesswomen, and that taught me, the etiquette of how to treat these women, how to speak to them, how to dress, in that sense. Being at Evelyn Charles, you have to show up with 5 pieces of makeup. You have to have your hair done. You have to wear a uniform. So that taught me professionalism, but it also wasn't easy dealing with that type of clientele, you
Yeah.
know? So that was one of the struggles that I dealt with, and showing up every day, making sure that not everyone feels good. Not everyone feels great to do that makeup, do that, make sure that you look 100 every day. But that taught me that in the beauty industry, that is the standard. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're servicing people, you don't have to look a certain way, but you do have to carry yourself with professionalism. You do have to show up every day, and you do have to talk to people a certain way. So that taught me that. So being a professional for sure.
Did Evelyn know that you were Indigenous?
I don't think she actually knew until she hired me. I really think a lot of people thought that I was from India.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I actually sat down with her, had a conversation with her, and told her, like, yeah, I'm Indigenous. Because for one, I didn't get my school paid for. Back then, that wasn't a thing. I had to pull out a student loan to pay for my schooling back then. And
Hmm.
when I actually had a conversation with her, she was shocked. She was like, "Oh, you're Indigenous. I didn't know that, you know." And she was always so kind. I've won a couple scholarships and awards from her academy because I just loved it. I worked so hard, and I feel like that fueled my fire just being an Indigenous person. I wanted to make sure that my name and presence was there and it was well known. So.
So, how has your personal journey of building confidence and self care influenced the way that you teach and that mentor others?
So I obviously myself have went through that glow up and not knowing how to do makeup and not knowing even my own culture, not being confident in that. And to this day, I'm still learning, you know? So
Mhm.
I've taught so many different students from all different paths of their life. You know, I deal with a lot of women who are on social assistance. I've even talked to women who are coming out of prison and starting their life over again. I talk to high schoolers who are starting their journey in the real world. So, building confidence through beauty doesn't just mean that I'm just building them up. You know what I mean? It's actually teaching them life skills, how to show up for themselves, how to, you know, be confident in who they're becoming and who they are. Not everyone is going to be the same person. And I find that I dealt with that my whole life. And I think that I can actually help these women, even men, become, you know, confident in who they are, not just in the beauty industry. Because when you're actually doing a service for someone and you're making them feel good,
Yeah.
that is the best feeling in the world. And could you imagine teaching someone and they start a business and then you see them become this person that you didn't even know that they had it in them, you know? That for me is why I do Beauty to Browse, is because building confidence through beauty is literally such a personal journey for everyone and it looks different for everyone. So,
I totally understand and totally agree with that, especially because as a fellow business coach myself, one of the biggest things having our clientele be Indigenous peoples is identity, right? There's so many pieces that are missing from ourselves because of intergenerational trauma. And I feel like that one of the biggest challenges that stand in our ways is this collective feeling of shame,
mhm.
right? And so, yes, building confidence through beauty, through self care, through ways that you can show up even when you don't feel like showing up.
Yeah.
Um, and the magic that that can do. And then being able to surround yourself and learn from women like you is such a blessing. So, thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
What makes Beauty to Browse unique as the world's first Indigenous beauty academy?
So, what makes us different is I've attended a lot of different academies. I've researched and done so much education. I reteach a lot of students who come from different academies. And one thing that makes us different and me different is that we actually start you right at the beginning. So, we don't just say, okay, take this training and send you on your way. We actually ask you, what is your purpose? What do you want to do? Do you want to work for someone? Do you want to start your business? And we start your business with you in the programs, whether that's a 5-day program or the 4 months training program that I have. We make sure that your online presence is on point. Even if you're shy, you're embarrassed, you don't want to post on social media, we get that out of the way. And I really go step by step with them and through the whole 4 months or 5 months to make sure that they're confident and that they're actually working on themselves in their business and showing up. So the difference is that we're not just a typical training center. We don't just give you a certification that's government recognized. We actually help you build yourself up from the beginning to the end. And then we do a follow up at the end of your training. And we do follow ups through all of our students. So to make sure that they're starting a business, you know, if they're still doing a business, that they're showing up for themselves, if they need any help, if there's anything new with Beauty to Browse or online learning or whatever, they have access to that for a lifetime. So it doesn't just end at, okay, here's your business, here's your certificate, start you on your way. We make sure that you are still doing it and that you're active and confident in creating a better business for yourself.
Amazing. So, what were some of the biggest risks or obstacles that you faced in starting your own beauty academy, and how did you overcome them? Because, um, especially since you're teaching all of these women and men how to start their businesses, you're obviously teaching from a place of falling, making your own mistakes, and really just wanting to teach your students how to avoid making the same mistakes that you did. Um, Also, social media, like you're huge on posting on social media. I also remember you being a part of some sort of TikTok thing. Um, so, yes, included in that answer, what are some of the biggest risks or obstacles that you faced in starting your own beauty academy?
So I think a lot of the times it was me in my head having imposter syndrome.
Mm,
Those are one of the biggest things that I still kind of overcome myself. I was a part of the Tina Davies Pro team, the Creators Indigenous program. I am a creator, Canadian creator on TikTok. You know, I've actually had my first brand deal. A lot of times I think it's just like imposter syndrome. That's one of the biggest things, even though people are like, you look so confident on social media. I'm like, that is not easy, you know? So I think pushing myself and then pushing others to get out of that imposter syndrome, because we all have it. And I think that's the number one thing, especially when you're starting a business, is like, I don't want to post on social media. You can literally post on social media. You don't even have to show your face. You know, there
yeah,
is so many options for social media that you can do and that my clients and students can do, right? So I think one of the biggest obstacles was just, yeah, that imposter syndrome and just realizing like, okay, I've actually done this. I can teach people to do that as well. So
yeah, yeah. That's definitely one of the things that I still struggle with. Like, I can do these videos. I can like sometimes show up and do like a 30-second reel, but that in itself is very difficult for me. Like, I do a lot of long form posts. I do a lot of like lived experience type posts, but when it comes to like showing up and like I did a video a couple days ago where I'm in my pajamas. The reason why I'm in my pajamas though is because I wanted to do this reel like earlier during the day, and I
mhm.
talked myself out of it because I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, even though my biggest goal has been showing up more online, like via video.
Yeah.
So then finally at like 8 o'clock at night, and I'm already in my pajamas. I'm just like, hey, just do the damn video. And so even if you're in your pajamas, just press record. And I did it. And so I'm in my pajamas. Go see it if you want for those watching. um, but yeah, definitely totally resonate with that imposter syndrome and that feeling the fear and doing it anyway
Yeah.
mentality. Um, so you began building your training manuals and kits during that pandemic. How did that period of time push you to innovate?
Oh my gosh, it was one thing after another. I was here scaling my business. Everything was going crazy. It was going so good. Everything was moving so fast. And I was so excited. Got my first space, opened it, got everything in it. And then we shut down. And I was literally paying rent for a room that I could no longer occupy. I had to push back and put on hold all of my trainings, and for a moment there, I didn't know what the heck I was going to do. I literally had to sit, and my daughter was so small at the time, and same with my son. So we're home all the time. And I'm like looking through my phone one day, and I was like, man, I have so many videos of me doing services. I'm going to create an online learning platform. And I was
Mhm.
like, I'm just going to do this. And I literally stayed up one day, and I was just one night, and I stayed up till like 7 a.m. doing everything, putting it in, the manuals, everything, just doing it. And the next day I was like, I'm going to launch this. This is what I'm going to do. And I launched it, and it took off. And at the time it was, I can get you your kits, mail them out, you can pick them up, do the work with me online. And it just took off. Like I was just so shocked at how much the innovation and what I created took off, right? So it was just kind of me being able to sit for a moment and in a panic kind of like,
Yeah.
what the heck am I going to do, to creating something that was amazing and took my academy to the next level. So yeah.
Yeah, I have shivers just hearing you talk about it. Um, One of the things, because I'm so similar in terms of like getting an idea and then just making the decision, because that's the biggest piece is like making the decision and then just doing it despite whether or not you feel ready or not, right? Because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people, they wait until everything is just right.
Yeah.
But nothing will ever be just right, ever. And if we're not at least stepping into the arena and trying and falling and failing even, we're never going to learn and we're never going to get better and we're never going to be real contenders within that industry.
Exactly.
So how do you see Beauty to Browse contributing to Indigenous economic growth and entrepreneurship in the beauty sector?
So for my academy and the studio, I definitely have a bigger vision now that I've never even had before. I see Beauty to Browse in different locations. So
Mhm.
that is kind of the growth and what I see for Beauty to Browse, and having employment and creating jobs and creating positions for other Indigenous people to be a part of Beauty to Browse. Because I find that I can create jobs and I can create a purpose and I can create a space in other cities or, reserves, whatever it may be, for other people, for our Indigenous people. I feel like that is what the next step is for Beauty to Browse, and creating, if they're going to learn, let's say someone doesn't want to open their own business, they want to open the Beauty to Browse, or they want to franchise Beauty to Browse, and that's going to create jobs. That's going to create more people being able to have access to these services, because a lot of times our my clients, they're driving in, whether they're 3 hours away, 5 hours away, they will drive in to see me. So if
Mhm.
I can create Beauty to Browse closer to them, where it's
Mhm.
accessible for everyone,
Mhm.
why not?
Yeah, actually, so I did an interview recently with a fellow within the construction industry. His name's Mike Lapierre, and he was talking about similar kind of thing, but I don't think it was training or franchising. But he said because he sees that a lot of the direction that First Nations are going is more towards sovereignty, right? And and having these systems in place for their members, um, rather than going out of the reserve, rather than going out and searching for it. And so I think this like completely aligns with what he was saying yesterday in terms of that. So what does that look like to you? I'm not sure if you mentioned franchising, and if so, like what does that look like?
So I definitely want to franchise either in communities. So whether that's like, my reserve in Ontario, or, reserves or communities in Canada first. And what
Yeah.
that's going to look like is that we're going to build the Beauty to Browse. And then I'm going to go down there, help them open it, help them everything. It's going to be a plan where they build it out, whether they're going to just be a studio space or they're going to have the academy learning space. And I'm going to go out there and help them hire artists, or I'm going to either teach them how to run their studio space, and that's how it's going to run. So it's going to create jobs for someone in a higher power that's going to be able to run the studio,
Yeah.
that it's going to hire, brow artists, nail techs, facials, a spa, like, there's going to be different options where you can have Beauty to Brow Spa, or you can have just Beauty to Brow Studio, where you're going to be doing brows, waxing, a brow bar. And then it'll be a space for me to actually go and do trainings.
Yeah.
So we are working on getting on our accreditation with the government of Canada. So what that will look like is that more funding will be available for Indigenous people to take these trainings. So it will help with employment. It will help with, obviously, the economics of the communities, building up, making that revenue through the studio space, but also having jobs, right? And services for, other indigenous or people who didn't have access to it. So,
That is awesome. Cause yeah, when you mentioned it, I was thinking like the academy part, but yeah, like makes total sense that you would do the salon and the spa and like the actual service offerings
yeah,
and having First Nation members deliver those services to the members.
yeah.
So you've spoken at youth and women conferences in the past. What key messages do you share with audiences when it comes to confidence and success and um, the beauty industry?
I think the number one advice and kind of spiel that I give to everyone is that if you're thinking about it and you want to start, just do it. Don't
Yeah.
just sit on it because, time will pass and everything is, revolving and everything is growing. And if you don't get on it now, you might just miss your moment. You might miss your time, right? Especially if you're not wanting to get in the beauty industry and you just want to be an entrepreneur. Don't sit on that thought. Do it. Take action. Get up every day, even if you don't know what your purpose is. Get up every day and just go for it. Try hard. Especially for me, I find when I lose sight of what I'm doing or I just don't feel good, I still get up and do it. I don't even give my mind, the brain, time to think about pity or self-doubt or anything like that. I just get up and do it and I feel 100 times better. So,
Amazing. Amazing. So you mentioned that you have a branding contract or something coming
yes.
up. Can you tell us
So
about
I actually was chosen from TikTok to be a Canadian Tik creator program. So they have a TikTok creator program, and I actually won my first sponsorship with Aldo shoes, and
that?
I won the whole program. So it was amazing, and all I did, it was honest to God, was so scary for me, even though I do this all the time. This is what I do, but now it's become a part of my daily life because I've actually put myself out there and I was chosen, you know what I mean, by a huge brand.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it was a big mindset, um, kind of whatever for myself. I
Yeah.
actually recorded the video, did the video. I didn't even know how to come up with what I was going to do. I was like, oh my God, there's going to be probably a million content creators getting in on this. How am I going to be picked? I kind of sat with that for a while. And then I was like, I'm just going to
It's
do
like
the video.
the imposter
Do it.
syndrome showing up.
Yes. So I actually did the video. And when I got chosen, I was so shocked. I was like, what the heck? So it opened a new door for me. Social media is a powerful tool, especially for your business. And it's crazy because it had nothing to do with my business. It had everything to do with Aldo shoes and fashion, which I love
Yeah.
as well.
What does that look like then? What does this mean?
So So now I'm a part of the TikTok creator program. I get to actually bid on different like content creation. So there'll be different jobs. I can actually make an income off TikTok.
Wow.
So you can create posts. There'll be different brand deals that you can actually be a part of. And if you're chosen, you get paid. So you get paid per view for TikTok. I think just for my views alone, I got paid $900 USD, and that was just for the views. And
Wow.
then for the actual contest, it was $5,000. So
Oh my
that
gosh.
just showed me that there is money to be made on social media. We need to take up space on social media because you never know, right? So,
That is amazing. So you got $5,000 and now you're getting paid for everything that you're putting out there. I
yeah.
really do love your like, I think they're like get ready with me
Yes. Yeah.
type videos. And I feel like they especially align with your whole brand, personal brand of showing up for yourself, how to show up within the beauty industry, how showing up and looking good um, sets the tone for your entire day.
Yeah.
So I really love that. So balancing life, fitness, entrepreneurship, and leadership is not easy. How do you maintain balance while growing your business?
Honestly, fitness has always just been a part of my life. If I don't do it, I
Can
don't
you
feel
stop for a second? Sorry. Oh my gosh. I'll have to ask that question again. Just give me a moment. Okay, come on. Yeah. Well, you need to go. Rhea, I'm just doing an interview right now. What is in my room? He's up here in here. He's banging on my door. He's right here. Can you just? That's okay. That's okay. I'm almost done, and then I can come out and help. So yeah, so I have a nanny, and she's great. Just sometimes she just forgets that I'm working. Okay. Start again. So balancing life, fitness, and entrepreneurship and leadership is not easy. So how do you maintain balance as you're growing your business?
right. So fashion, being athletic and health is such an important part of taking care of yourself, especially in the beauty industry. I find that I've been on a weight loss journey for a couple years now. I fluctuate, and that has a huge impact on your mental health, right? So, especially when you're always in a beauty space in the beauty industry, I find that we forget to like take care of our health as well, right?
And we have
So,
kids.
yes, and kids. So balancing that with extracurricular activities, it's a lot. And my husband works away, so I'm usually home by myself. But my kids are a lot older, and my son helps me out a lot. So I have my husband purchased me a treadmill. I just get up, go on that treadmill first thing in the morning. Don't even think about it. And I've learned to put myself to bed most nights at 9 p.m. I
Mm,
also have a healthy relationship now with my phone. I try to turn it off at a certain time. Sometimes I don't.
yeah.
And I kind of just be am conscious of that of like, okay, I have to do lunch, I have to do dinner, I have to do this, I have to be present in my kid's life. And
Mhm.
I'm very proud of myself because it's very hard for women to balance that.
Yeah.
And honestly, the gym for me is a therapy. It literally helps me feel good. I feel so much better. And it's just one of my priorities in my life, especially with kids.
Yeah.
So I just try to balance it out as much as possible. Scheduling is super, super important, especially as an entrepreneur. Having your schedule for the months
Absolutely.
ahead even helps
Yeah.
me. So,
Yeah. I actually use my is it notes? No, reminders on my phone. And
yeah,
I will plan out my entire like next few months, like all of the boys' hockey stuff, like
yep,
the appointments first, and then meetings, and then like just regular administrative tasks.
yes.
Because I find like the checking off, like, because I have ADHD, and so it helps with the increasing
Pretty
my
sure I have
dopamine.
ADHD. I just need to definitely get it diagnosed. I'm either like a high functioning ADHD because my mind is like like all over the place as soon as I get up and go to bed, and I thought that was a normal thing, and I guess it's not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I learned to just function with it. I also take like a lot of multivitamins and vitamins, lion's mane,
Mhm.
a lot of things to help you focus,
Yeah.
because being an entrepreneur and a mom and a wife and a household and everything, it can get overwhelming. And one thing that I've done now, I used to work 7 days a week. I take my Sundays off. Sundays, I do not take any clients. I do not answer phone calls. I do not do anything on Sundays. That is my day for myself, my kids. You also need a day to reset. Make sure you get your laundry done, your cleaning, your grocery shopping. All of that stuff is important. And if you're not balanced, your whole schedule is going to be off, right?
Absolutely. Totally agree. So, Julie, what's one message that you would like to leave with Indigenous youth watching this episode about pursuing their dreams? And where can we find you on social media?
For sure. So all my social media is Beauty2Browse. That is all across platforms. So TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, it is at Beauty2Browse. And then we also have a Beauty2Browse Academy page as well. So you can follow me there. And one thing that I will speak on, especially for the youth, if you feel underqualified or if you feel like you're not good enough, do it anyways. Ask for help, look for resources, and just do it anyways, because you will never ever get that chance again if you just sit on it. And try to build things in your brain and for yourself to be confident. Like for my son, he's 14 going on 15. He actually has a little list on his wall and it says, I am confident. I
Mm,
am ready, things like that that are positive that he can read to himself because you have to switch your mindset. So
totally. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for showing up today, for all of us here on this channel, and for Indigenous projects and events, and for Indigenous entrepreneurs and people everywhere. Thank you for being you.
thank you.
Bye.